Today's video is about the small boxcars that were produced in the early post-war period from 1946 up to as late as 1953. This is a page from the 1952 Lionel catalog, and you can see the Erie boxcar at the top of the page. Its number was 6454. These boxcars were the precursors of the 6464 series that came later on. A couple weeks ago, my brother-in-law, who's also a Lionel train enthusiast and collector, called me and said, "Hey, John, do you realize that the TTOS, that's the Toy Train Operating Society, recently put out a reproduction of the Lionel 2454 boxcar from 1946, and this is a reproduction of one of the rarest versions." So I went and had to go and buy one, obviously. So I went and bought one on eBay and received it a few days ago. And I thought, man, this would be a great subject to do a video on. So this is what spurred today's video. The first of the small boxcars was introduced in 1946, and it's the 2454. It was available in Baby Ruth with the Pennsylvania Herald, or in Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania version is very, very rare, extremely rare. The most common is this Baby Ruth with the Pennsylvania Railroad Herald. The Pennsylvania version came with either a brown door or an orange door. The orange door is even rarer yet than the ones with the brown door. These early boxcars were injection molded plastic, but the early ones had metal doors, and these doors were from the 2458 automobile car, the Pennsylvania automobile car, which had double doors. So what's something that's interesting is if you look at the doors on this side, the latch is going this way, which it should, but on the other side, the latch is going in the opposite direction, which it shouldn't. This boxcar is a reproduction of the 1946 2454 Pennsylvania boxcar. This is the one that I mentioned at the beginning of the video that was put out by the TTOS. Baby Ruth boxcar with the Pennsylvania Herald came out again in 1948, but now it had the number 6454. It's one of the first of the 6454 cars. That's also a very rare car, and I don't have it in my collection. So this is a 2454. Also introduced in 1948 was the New York Central boxcar. It came out in all brown with white lettering. There was two other versions of this boxcar. One came out with in bright orange with black lettering, and the other one was burnt orange with white lettering. Both had brown doors. The 6454 Santa Fe was made in 1948 only. There are no major variations in the Santa Fe car. The 6454 Erie boxcar was manufactured from 1949 to 1952 for sure, and there's some evidence that it was manufactured in 1953 also. It was cataloged in 1950 to 1952. The two major variations are some came with plastic doors and some came with metal doors. Any boxcar made after 1950, they eliminated the little footsteps on the frame. So if you looked in the first cars I've shown on this video, all of them have little footsteps, black footsteps on the frame. This car does not. So this frame was made after 1950. The Southern Pacific 6454 boxcar was manufactured from 1949 to 1952. There's some subtle variations in this boxcar. Basically have to do with the color. There's the reddish brown, and there's kind of like a darker brown color in the boxcars. And on a Herald, some can be found with breaks in that outside circle. Also, those, just like I talked about before, those made earlier, 49 and 50, like this one was, had the steps on the frame. Those made after 1950 would not have had the steps on the frame. The 6454 Pennsylvania boxcar was also made from 49 to 1952. And like the Erie boxcar, the basic variations have to do with the door, Some had plastic doors and some had metal doors. As an aside to this video, there was also 4 other boxcars, small boxcars, but they were all operating boxcars made on that same body. On the front left is the 3464 Santa Fe. It was made from 1949 to 1952. It's very common. On the front right is a 3464 New York Central, made only in 1952. On the back left is a 3474 Western Pacific, only made in 1952. And on the back right is the 3454 Pennsylvania Railroad merchandise car. It was made in 46 and 47. Now the Pennsylvania Railroad merchandise car, the silver paint on it was very easy to scuff. So it's very hard to find this car without the paint being pretty much scuffed up.